Right, Cedric Tillman gets third-round draft capital to the Cleveland Browns. Oh my gosh. And wow, this is the guy that we were higher on the most, and he ended up getting higher draft capital than the likes of Josh Downs even. So now, I mean, Cedric Tillman should absolutely be on your radar. When you're looking at the Cleveland Browns and their receiving core, you've got Amari Cooper there, you've got David Njoku there, and then, I mean, David Bell hasn't really done anything yet. I like Cedric Tillman probably as much or more as I like David Bell, to be honest with you. And Cedric Tillman, again, when he coming out, he's a bigger body. He was a little bit playing in the shadow of Jalen Hyatt this year. Obviously, we just released a video on Jalen Hyatt, the Biletnikoff Award winner last year. Cedric Tillman was in the same offense, playing with Hendon Hooker. And Cedric Tillman, obviously not the most eye-popping stats compared to Jalen Hyatt. And obviously, he played 5 years in college. So that's the other thing with Cedric Tillman. He's an older dude. He only had 37 receptions for 417 yards last year. The season before, he did have 1,000 yards receiving and 12 touchdowns. So we saw him flash and break out during that senior year, that first senior year. But he's 6'3", 215, so he's a bigger dude. Obviously, he's about in the 53rd percentile of 40-yard dash for wide receivers. He's got a 4.54 40-yard dash, a 79th percentile, though, in speed score. So his best comparable is Zach Pascal, which is pretty interesting, actually. The guy we know very well. Yeah. So with Cedric Tillman, going over to the Cleveland Browns, I want to know your thoughts on the landing spot, his potential this year with Deshaun Watson, and how he may fit into that receiving core.
I love anyone who's tied to Deshaun Watson in the passing game right now. So to me, this is just resetting the clock on the David Bell experiment that didn't go very well. I mean, their measurables are pretty similar. From a measurable perspective, Cedric Tillman 6'3", David Bell a little shorter at 6'1". He was 209. David Bell, Cedric Tillman's 213. Their arm length is almost exactly the same, and the only difference between the two is that Cedric Tillman's going to be a little bit faster and not unreasonably slow like David Bell was last year. And I think that's really what's going to set them apart. And honestly, this is just the second year in a row that's shown that Cleveland really does not want to commit to Donovan Peoples-Jones long term. While he did do okay from a fantasy perspective last year and showed a little bit of promise, I mean, he did the same thing the year before. He got some opportunities.
Oh, I forgot about DPJ.
And DPJ he is not going to be that guy in Cleveland that they're going to want to go with long term. And I think the Cedric Tillman pick is really proving that yet again. Amari Cooper isn't getting any younger, while we really like him from a fantasy perspective and a dynasty perspective, being tied to Deshaun Watson as the clear wide receiver one there. You have another complimentary, I think, wide receiver two-piece that can go really well in the short to intermediate game with Amari Cooper, and maybe even do some field stretching action, but that'll be primarily Elijah Moore. Yep. So I think from a target share perspective, he'll command the second most targets in that offense next to Amari Cooper. I think he passes David Bell. I think he passes Elijah Moore, who's, again, not going to get a ton of target share. He's going to be
nice. Okay. Wow. So you've got a little bit higher expectation for him than I do, I think. But yeah, I totally missed DPJ, and I totally missed Elijah Moore too. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah. But what's your question?
So what do you think he's going to do? Do you think, because I mean,
I don't know.
He's coming out old. He's 23 years old.
Right.
I'll give you that for sure. He didn't have a ton of production this last year because
I just think there's a lot of potential guys there that could do well. I think David Bell's not dead yet. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones had an impressive showing for part of last year. So, but I mean, those are guys that Cedric Tillman could absolutely come out and overtake. Like I'm fully acknowledging that. I just, there are going to be guys, like I'm going to heavily prefer Josh Downs in a rookie draft over Cedric Tillman.
I agree.
The earliest I'm willing to probably take a shot on Cedric Tillman is late second. I think there's a bunch of guys now that are going to take over him.
But you've got to have a lot more optimism than you would really with any other team that you landed with in the late third, because
he's playing with an elite quarterback. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, they keep taking these shots on third-round QBs when they really,
receivers.
Depth-wise, they went and they got Elijah Moore. They draft David Bell last year, and they draft Cedric Tillman. And DPJ is just sitting here like, what the heck? But, he didn't have a lot of draft capital. He went, 6th, 7th round?
Yeah, something like that.
And he's nearing the end of his rookie deal. So I don't think he's going to be there forever, and that's one less mouth to feed. And he just has shown that in clutch situations, he's not really delivering. He's just dropped balls in times of grave need for the Cleveland Browns in the past. So.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting. Cedric Tillman, again, a guy we've been high on. going to a spot where he could absolutely establish himself as the wide receiver too. So we will see if he does. Going to be really interesting with Cedric Tillman. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We've got rookie content like this coming out all offseason. We're here to break down these rookies as best we can and give you the best temperature gauge on what the Dynasty market's doing. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We've got some more videos to do. It is draft night. We're having fun. We'll see you here in a minute. Thanks for watching.